Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome here as we get ready for our 20th race of the second season of the NNSCRA Duracell Cup Series. We are here live this evening at Bristol Motor Speedway. We were at Bristol earlier on this year, but there's a little bit of a difference between that Bristol and this Bristol. And if you haven't figured it out by now, I will tell you, this Bristol is covered with dirt. This is our third dirt track stop of the season. We were at Springfield Mile and Fuel Motorsports Park earlier on this season. And we saw in both those races, Michael Norman took the checkered flag. So Michael Norman trying to set an unprecedented 3-for-3 in winning the dirt track stops this season. Now this one's going to be a wild one because this is, as we mentioned, a half mile. It's a short track covered in dirt. And this kind of track always seems to bring about great racing. We're going to see them double wide and three wide all the way through the field. And the best part about it, they're going to have enough room to actually make it work. This is going to be a wild race all the way from first back to 40th place. Can't wait to see what's going to happen. It's on the front row, on the pole position, is Matt McIntyre. It's his second pole of the season. Matt McIntyre, of course, our winner from Texas earlier on this season. And comes into this race, the current points leader. Alongside of him, Cole Baker, who is 12th in the points and, of course, has a victory this season as well in the season-opening Daytona 500. So both of these drivers currently in very good position in the point standings and have a win to boot. So both of them could certainly benefit from a second victory here tonight. That would probably all but lock themselves up spots in the playoffs, with this race included, only 7 races remaining in the regular season. Let's go down trackside and get those most famous words in motorsports in just a moment. As first off, I'm going to take these final 30 seconds and give you guys what the playoff grid looks like coming into tonight's race. So right now, you've got Carson Gum and Michael Norman with 2 wins. They're in the first and second seeds. Matt McIntyre, Benjamin Miles, Jordan Lopez, Zach Rogers, Ryan Brummer, Cole Baker, Dylan Young, Trey Wright, Matt Haas. Last week's winner, Levi McIntyre in New Hampshire, as well as Johnny Gardner and Kyle Matthews. They're all in right now via 1 wins. And then we've got an interesting battle as far as the drivers getting in via points. We'll get that in the command in a minute here.
Drivers, start your engines!
Wow, I really butchered the end of that sentence. I was going to say we'd get it after the command. Wow. It's been a while since I've actually commentated an offline race, and obviously it's pretty obvious. Anyway, as far as the 15th and 16th position in points are concerned, the position is currently held by Carter Friesen, 15th, and 16th right now is Ryan Acosta. They are 34 points ahead of the cut line for Carter Friesen. Ryan Acosta right now, that cut line driver. Drivers they have to worry about here tonight are obviously anybody that hasn't won yet this season in the top 30 in points. And then we got Austin LaPlante. He is 5 points back. Mitchell Collins 15 points back. Derek Hamill 22 points back as far as getting in via points. As the green flag's out, the clash at the Coliseum 500 is green. And if you can see through the dust kicked up there in 1 and 2, you can see this battle here going to go on between a couple of Toyotas. Wyatt Quayle on the inside, McIntyre on the outside. Wyatt Quayle going to lead the first lap. And that's an important bonus point for Wyatt Quayle because we have currently 14 drivers in the playoffs with wins, 2 drivers currently in via points, and 3 drivers that have wins outside the top 30 in the standings. Jose Mills is 32nd in points. He's 9 points behind 30th in the standings cut line. Alexander Rowe is 35th in points. He's 25 points behind 30th in the standings. And the car we're looking at right now, Wyatt Quayle. He is 38th in points, 52 points behind the cut line. William Brock has moved into second. Third place is now the defending champion, Chris Dollerton. Dollerton had a decent run last week at New Hampshire. He also had a pretty good run the week before at Chicago Motor Speedway, and he's up here in the third position right now under fire from Alexander Rowe. Dollerton still 39th in the points coming into this one, though, and he is currently 64 points behind 30th in the standings. So he not only needs a win in these final 7 races, but needs to get himself up there in the point standings, as Rowe will take the spot. His teammate now up in second place, William Brock, trying to take a position away for the lead from Wyatt Quayle. William Brock comes into this race 29th in the standings, and I haven't really taken much notice of it, but boy, this team has really floundered since the beginning of the first half of the regular season. He was up inside the top 10 for most weeks before the All-Star race break, but since then, things have obviously not gone his way, and William Brock, who was a 3-time winner last season, trying to get his first win here of Season 2. Got a couple of cars in this field that are running new paint schemes, including Alexander Rowe. Alexander Rowe normally has been running the Red Bull paint scheme, but now Pizza Hut, one of his other primary sponsors, unveiling this new paint scheme for him to run here this evening. Got a couple other drivers here in the field with some new paint schemes as well. There you see two-time winner Carson Gum. And that number 3, sponsored by Sharpie Gel Highlighters. Of course, that's a meme for everybody that knows Carson Gum, knowing about the highlighter meme, but really cool looking scheme here under the lights on that neon yellow number 3 machine. I believe we have another driver in here that has a new paint scheme as well. Yep, there's Seth Cole in The Last of Us, number 25. And a pole sitter, Matt McIntyre, was actually the other one, running the yellow Advanced Auto Parts Toyota Camry here this evening. So a couple of drivers here featuring brand new paint schemes here as we draw closer to the playoffs. Move back up towards the front of the field. Sebastian Kukalan got around Chris Dollerton for the 4th position. Kukalan in a very spirited battle right now for the Rookie of the Year honors. Cody Lamas comes into this race 1 point over Derek Hamill, 2 points over Sebastian Kukalan, and 7 points over Marcus Sachi, who right now is in the 6th position, I believe now. He just took that spot from Dollerton, who's beginning to free fall. And there's the rookie points leader, Cody Lamas, currently in 8th. Carter Friedson has now moved into the top 5 in the 5th position as we've had a lead change. Alexander Rowe has taken the position away from Wyatt Quayle, and now his teammate William Brock trying to make it a Northeast Motorsports 1-2. We have managed to run the first 15 laps under the green flag. You can see back here the battling still going on, 2 and 3 wide, and there's some drivers back here that really do not need to be back here, and I'm looking more particularly at 39th and 40th, Matt Haas and Kyle Matthews, because Kyle Matthews, he comes into this one 27th in points. He's only 3 points ahead of the cut line. And Matt Haas, who took a checkered flag 2 weeks ago at Chicago Motor Speedway, you can see running back here in 39th, he's currently situated 15th in points, and obviously does not need to have a bad run to drop him down near that 30th in the standings cut line. There's Jose Mills, who came in 9 points behind 30th in the standings. Our Bristol winner, back when we were running it with pavement. Ooh, little contact there with his teammate Jordan Lopez. As a matter of fact, all 3 of the BOA cars back here, the 28, 38, and 98. It's like Mills is now on the bottom, working his way back up towards the front. He's, I think, the only one of the 3 former winners outside the top 30 in points that has a mathematical chance of getting back in the top 30 here this evening. As you saw right there, they were almost 4 wide, and I thought Casey Nanico was going to go off the nose of Dylan Young. That was a close call. There's Zach Rogers, our Kansas winner, up to the 24th position currently, 6th in the overall standings coming into this one. And there's the guy that everybody's wondering, can he go 3 for 3? Michael Norman took the checkered flag at Springfield earlier on this year. He followed it up, winning at the 2nd dirt track stop at Fuel Motorsports Park. And now, trying to go 3 for 3 as he's in the tire tracks of Benny Watson. Right now, Norman's in the 21st position. I think he just took 20th away from Charles Sanford. Yes, he did. Ryan Acosta, we mentioned about him, coming into this race in the 16th position in the current live playoff standings. So trying to build a bit of a cushion between himself, LaPlante, Collins, and Hamill, just in case we don't have different drivers go to victory lane. As Wyatt Quayle took the lead back from Alexander Rowe. Rowe wants the spot back again. Right now, the battle between these 2 drivers. Wyatt Quayle, I don't know if necessarily with a victory he'd move back into the top 30 in the standings or not. Most a driver can gain in a race is 47 points, and he's 52 points back from 30th. Alexander Rowe, on the other hand, is only 25 points back, so he probably with a victory could move back into the top 30 in points. And bear in mind, for both these drivers, they're both looking for their 2nd win on the year. Alexander Rowe winning at Pikes Peak, and Wyatt Quayle winning at Las Vegas earlier on this season. So for both of them, whichever one wins, whichever one gets 2nd, obviously both of them looking for good points day nonetheless to get themselves back up into the top 30 in the points. And if both of them were able to manage to get into the top 30 in the points here today, or if Jose Mills gets back in the top 30 in points, then that would mean Carter Friesen and Ryan Acosta, who came into this one 15th and 16th as far as in on points, they would automatically be eliminated out, and then they would have to rely on a win in the next 6 races to get themselves back into playoff contention. Top 2 have checked out by almost a second and a half over William Brock. If they continue to battle, though, that might actually allow William Brock to close in on them. And then we got a battle back here for 4th. Cody Lamas working his way by Carter Friesen. Lamas has picked up quite a number of spots in the last couple of laps. He could have one of the fastest cars on track. Friesen drops back to 5th. How about Mitchell Collins up here in that 6th position? Good run for the 22. Mitchell Collins, 10th in the overall standings coming into this one. And we mentioned as well that he was 15 points out of making it into the playoffs via points. So solid outing here for that 22. And our New Hampshire winner is now working his way up into the top 10. Levi McIntyre, who last week won on a fuel strategy call, got himself a timely caution and picked up his first career win in the Duracell Cup Series, and could very well also have put himself into the playoffs for the first time in his Duracell Cup Series career. Now building off of that as he is in the 9th position and trying to get more. Couple of Chevrolets, Marcus Sacchi, the rookie, and former Daytona 500 winner Carter Friesen battling for the 6th position, and Marcus will take the spot easily. And now this is where it starts to get very interesting. It's a half-mile racetrack, and more often than not, our short tracks, we end up seeing the leaders catch the tail end of the field, which right now is Ryan Butcher in the 78 and Keith Batson in the 39. Let's see how much of a factor these drivers are going to be for the race leader Wyatt Quayle. Going to make an easy pass there on Ryan Butcher, put him a lap down. Now going to try to get by Keith Batson, who does yield the inside line. Surprised these drivers aren't battling more to stay on the lead lap. Unless Wyatt Quayle's just got too strong of a race car and they don't have the speed to be able to counter that, to be able to block him. Now Wyatt Quayle's getting up to where they're starting to race double wide with each other, and that's going to slow him down just the least little bit. 70 laps of racing here. I don't know if necessarily these drivers are going to have to pit or not. We ran 75 laps in the paved Bristol race earlier on this season, so only 5 laps shorter, and I don't think these drivers came to pit road at any point during that race. I might be wrong, but I off the top of my head don't remember them having to make pit stops. Matt Haas, our Chicago winner, getting lapped, and our Charlotte winner, Benjamin Miles, now next on the hit list. He's going to get put a lap down. Now Jordan Lopez, another former winner this season from Michigan, is going to get put a lap down. So a lot of former winners here not having the run they were looking for this evening at Bristol. Jose Mills now about to fall a lap down. That's our paved Bristol winner, now getting lapped by the dirt Bristol leader. Now Kyle Matthews, our Phoenix winner, is next. Trey Wright, who won at Manassas earlier on this season. I think every car that's been lapped so far, with the exception of Batson and Butcher, are all former winners from this season. And another thing I noticed too is Wyatt Quayle's been doing a heck of a job getting by this traffic. Alexander Rowe is somewhat doing a decent job getting through, but still got about 2 or 3 cars between himself and the race leader Wyatt Quayle. Got a car coming to pit road. Got several cars coming to pit road. Okay, never mind what I said about making green flag pit stops, because Alexander Rowe from the 2nd spot just pitted. Derek Hamill is in. So is Jordan Lopez, Jack Mitchell, and a number of others are on pit road. Levi McIntyre was on pit lane. And these are lead lap cars, a number of them. So that means that these drivers are pitting for green flag pit stops, and here comes the leader, Wyatt Quayle. That's going to be a very congested pit road as well. William Brock, who cycled into 2nd after Alexander Rowe hit pit lane, he's in. Mitchell Collins is in. I believe I saw Cody Lamas back there coming to pit lane. So who's going to cycle out to the race lead now? It looks like everybody that hadn't pitted the lap before has pitted this lap. And this is past the halfway point, so these drivers will be able to make it on fuel now. It's all going to be on Wyatt Quayle to get a clean pit stop. Pulls into the attention of his crew. Looks like he is in the 4th pit stall. Either the 3rd or 4th. I can't tell exactly which one. And I think it's going to come down between him and Alexander Rowe, because Alexander Rowe came to pit road a lap earlier. Cole Baker pulls in just ahead of Wyatt Quayle, so that'll kind of hinder his exit out of pit road just the least little bit. It's like they're making sure that car is full of fuel. A little bit of an extended stay for Wyatt Quayle on pit road. I don't know if there's something wrong on the 41 or not, but I do know that William Brock came to pit road behind him. He's going to leave pit road ahead of him. And I don't know if that's going to cycle the 88 to the race lead or not. We're going to have to wait until everything finally gets cycled around. But a very slow pit stop for Wyatt Quayle may have just cost him this race. And he's just now leaving pit road in the 41. I think he just lost a lap. And I'm not exactly certain what happened to him. But whatever it was, it's going to have catastrophic results and will more than likely take him out of winning this race. So right now they're saying William Brock is 7th, Kukulon is 6th, Collins in 5th, 4th is Friesen, 3rd is Marcus Sachi, 2nd place right now they're saying is Cody Lamas, and Alexander Rowe is indeed going to cycle out as the race leader in the 24 car. And he's got a number of lap machines now between himself and Cody Lamas. He's about to lap Seth Cole, who right now is in the 24th position. Kyle Matthews, Levi McIntyre, Ryan Butcher, as well as James Qualls. And we got trouble! Lamas, with contact with Carter Friesen and Jordan Lopez, nearly got spun. Friesen's going to move into 2nd place because of that, but that's going to lose them a lot of ground to Alexander Rowe now. Marcus Sachi going to move into 3rd place. So now does Friesen have enough time with about 25 laps to go, 26 actually, to catch up to Alexander Rowe to challenge for this win? He'll get by the lap car of James Qualls, now has to work by Jordan Lopez. Meanwhile, Alexander Rowe catching up to Zach Rogers and Vince Almriego, who are in 22nd and 23rd. Let's try and give you a full field rundown if we can. Alexander Rowe, the leader. 2nd, Carter Friesen. 3rd place, Marcus Sachi. 4th is Cody Lamas. Mitchell Collins in 5th. 6th is Sebastian Kukulon. 7th place is Derek Hamill now. Remember, he was one of the first to hit pit road. 8th place is William Brock. Michael Norman up there in 9th. And right now, completing your top 10 is Benny Watson. 11th is Ryan Acosta. 12th is Trey Wright. 13th place, I believe, is Austin LaPlante. Actually, now it's Jack Mitchell. 14th will be LaPlante. 15th is Dylan Young. 16th is Ryan Brommer. 17th place is Matt Haas. 18th is Adam Garcia. 19th, Jose Mills. And completing the top 20 is Carson Gum. 21st is Zach Rogers. 22nd, Benjamin Miles. 23rd place is going to be Vince Almriego. 24th is Levi McIntyre. 25th, Kyle Matthews. 26th, Seth Cole. Right now, the last car on the lead lap. 27th, first car lap down, is Casey Nanico. His teammate Ryan Butcher is 28th, as it looks like Carter Friesen is slowly closing in on Alexander Rowe, so we'll have to cycle through this field pretty quickly. 29th place is Charles Sanford. 30th is Wyatt Quayle. 31st is Cole Baker. 32nd place will be Johnny Gardner. 33rd is Keith Batson. 34th, Matthew Rodriguez. 35th is Matt McIntyre, the pole sitter. 36th, as you see this battle for the lead again, 36th is Chris Dollerton. He just took the spot from Jordan Lopez, who was 37th. 38th is Jesse Turner. 39th is James Qualls, and right now in 40th, I believe, is Jessica Shelton in the 0-2. Indeed it is. So all 40 cars are still running, but some of them are a lap down, some of them are 2 laps down, and we just had an exchange for the lead. Carter Friesen just got around Alexander Rowe for the top spot with about 5 laps remaining. Carter Friesen has not won since the Daytona 500 back in Season 1, trying to make it into the playoffs for the 2nd straight year. Alexander Rowe, though, I don't think he's going to give up easily. He's there within striking distance. It all depends on how Carter Friesen manages to get around Kyle Matthews. A little slowed up there in that entrance of the corner. You can see he's also got some right side damage, which I think was when he, Cody Lamas, and Jordan Lopez all made contact a little earlier. As Friesen ticks off another lap, 3 laps to go. He's now got Carson Gum ahead of him. Alexander Rowe trying to get around Kyle Matthews. And I think Alexander Rowe, a lot of the reason why he lost the race lead to Carter Friesen was a lot of the lap machine stuck him on the high side, bypassed him, and allowed Friesen to close in the gap. Boy, Rowe is right there. He's about 3 car lengths back behind Friesen. Does he have enough time, though, here as the white flag will be displayed? 1 more lap to go for the Wendy's Chevrolet. Alexander Rowe trying to close the gap. He's got to get around Carson Gum here if he's going to have a shot at Friesen in 3 and 4. Carter Friesen, they're double wide ahead of him. As off turn 4, Carter Friesen's going to win at Bristol Dirt. It's his 2nd win of his career. It's his 1st of Season 2. And coming into this race, according to the live points, 15th in the playoff standings, but more importantly, 4th in the standings overall. That could very well have just put Carter Friesen into a locked-up position in the playoffs. And that would, I believe, at this point in time, take Ryan Acosta out of the equation as far as making it in on points. Especially with Alexander Rowe finishing in 2nd. I think this could very well have moved Alexander Rowe back into the top 30 in points. So I think, based on currently where everybody's going to finish, I think we would have to look at where Kyle Matthews is going to be, because if Kyle Matthews manages to stay in the top 30 in the points, then I believe that we would have 16 former winners all up inside the top 30 in the points, which means all of our playoff positions would currently be filled by former winners. But Carter Friesen must have been that final pit stop, whatever adjustment they made, because he ran down Alexander Rowe, and I think it also was a combination of Rowe getting kicked up to the high side, and that allowed Friesen to close the distance up. But Friesen will pick up his 2nd career victory, 1st of the season. Alexander Rowe will finish 2nd, so even though he didn't get his 2nd win of the year, he will probably move back into the top 30 in the point standings, I would think. He was only 25 points back behind 30th in the point standings, and I believe with where he finished today, I don't know if he led the most laps, but if he did, then he's going to get about 44 points. If he didn't lead the most laps, he'll get 43 points. Cody Lamas will bring it home, rookie of the race. Or, I'm sorry, actually he will finish 2nd of the rookies in 3rd. As a matter of fact, we had 3 rookies in 2nd, 3rd, and 4th with Marcus Sacchi there in the 4th position. And correct me if I'm wrong, this is going to make it pretty close between Lamas and Sacchi for the rookie points battle now. Mitchell Collins brings it home in 5th. Sebastian Kukulon there in 6th. What is it with these difficult racetracks where the rookies always seem to finish well? 5 of our 6 rookies finished in the top 10. Kukulon there in 6th. Derek Hamill in 9th. Michael Norman, boy, his numbers at dirt tracks are awfully good. A 1st, and a 7th so far this season at the dirt tracks. William Brock's going to bring it home with a solid outing of 8th. And Ryan Acosta is going to finish the day out in the 10th position. So his consistent finishes seem to be coming back. He picked up a spot in the standings up to 7th last week after New Hampshire, and he gets another good run here today. So we'll see if maybe, just maybe, Ryan Acosta can get himself to victory lane and get into a playoff spot now. Trey Wright, his 1st career win in the Duracell Cup Series last year came at a dirt track, so no surprise to see him have a good run here tonight at a dirt track in 11th. Dylan Young, we didn't really talk about him all night. He's going to bring it home in 12th. 13th for Jack Mitchell, 14th for Matt Haas, and Betty Watson brings it home with a 15th place run. Rest of your top 20 were Ryan Brommer, Austin LaPlante, Jose Mills, Zach Rogers, and Seth Cole. And Jose Mills was only 9 points behind the cut line of 30th in the standings, so he might have also moved back into the top 30 in the point standings. So it definitely is going to be awfully congested, I think, down around 25th down through 30th in the standings with a number of former winners heading into next week. We had 24 cars finish on the lead lap. First car to finish a lap down was Carson Gum. Everybody finished this race, though, but I think that pit road was certainly, that green flag pit stop was certainly a deciding factor into a lot of these drivers' finishing positions. And how about our front row? Cole Baker started second in this race, finished in 31st. Matt McIntyre started on the pole, finished 35th. And the dominant car of the first half, just before the pit stops, Wyatt Quayle, I don't know what it was that caused him to have an extended stay on pit road, but it dropped him all the way down to finish in the 30th position. So a tough break for him. Chris Dollerton we saw up in the top 10 quite a bit in the first part of this race as well. He finishes back in 36th, so the road to trying to defend his championship looks like it is continuing to hit some bumps, and now he's only got 6 races remain to not only get a win, but get himself up into the top 30 in the point standings. But that is going to do it here this evening from Bristol. Carter Friesen becomes another different winner here this season in the Duracell Cup Series. That now makes it 20 races where we have had 18 different drivers go to victory lane, and based on where he is in points, I think that may have very well locked Carter Friesen up a spot in his second playoff appearance. So that's going to do it here tonight. If you enjoyed this race from Bristol Dirt, be sure to give this video a like, subscribe to get part of the crew today. We have shown you full results, and these are your point standings heading into next week's race, which is probably going to be another wild one, as we're going to be heading to Kentucky Speedway. That track always seems to be a very, very good multi-groove racetrack where both the inside and outside lines can work, and also usually ends up being a pit strategy race as well. If I recall correctly, the defending winner of that event is James Shelley, and there's actually going to be some interesting news next week at Kentucky coming out of the Back of Marker Motorsports camp involving James Shelley and maybe a couple of other people. But until then, I've been Seth Cole. You've been watching a production of the NNSCRA Offline Racing at its best. See you guys next week.